guys. We're live in Schoepf's Barbecue Back Room. Woo-woo! As the crowd goes wild.
It's crazy in here tonight.
It's exciting. We're super excited tonight. We're live on the Schoepf's Barbecue Facebook page. I believe the Jarrod Birmingham Facebook page and the
Hopefully Coke FM page.
We're hopefully all that's working. So wherever you're watching, we got a live crowd in here tonight. We're all super excited to celebrate kind of a big day.
Yeah, usually a CD release for me is really exciting because it's a baby. It's the first time for these artists to get out. They worked really hard. They put their time and their effort and their money into a project. A lot about rodeo on this one, so really excited to get up here. And once you've recorded it, now you want to get up and show the people.
And we're looking forward to hearing it. Tonight you're going to hear Jarrod's going to tell you all about all these great songs that he's heard over the years and songs that he's written, and shares about rodeo and the short go, and that means the best of the best. That means the elite, and that's what you're going to hear tonight. And we're super excited to welcome Jarrod Birmingham with the short go. Take it away, brother.
Wow, I can't wait to hear myself after that. Okay, real quick, what tonight's going to be on especially for the live view, it's going to be a conversation, and we didn't put a lot of forethought into this because we said let's do a live. Our CD release parties got canceled because of COVID, and we said, well, we're going to do a kind of behind the music thing at Schoepf's, my favorite place in Texas, and but I didn't think about the fact that nobody's listened to the CD because it just came out today, and that might be a problem because that CD is so fancy, and we thought we would break this down acoustically. And so, I don't know which camera to look at. This is only my second live feed ever, so welcome out here and the millions of people that are watching all over the world right now. When I do an album, this is what I do, okay? We're going to get into this. We'll warm up, all right? When I do an album, what I do is the first song, just so you know, the first song is always kind of the foreword to the album. And when I did this rodeo, I've had it in my mind for 20 years, and I couldn't ever get a record company to put an album out that's all cowboy songs. Go figure. The one that I thought explained this album the most was a song called My Heroes Have Always Been Cowboys, and here we go. Grew up dreaming, being a cowboy, loving the cowboy ways, pursuing the life of my high-riding heroes. Well, I burned up my childhood days, I learned all the rules of a modern-day drifter. Never hold on to nothing too long. Take what you need from the ladies and leave them with the words of a sad country song. Heroes have always been cowboys, still are, it seems, sadly in search of one stepping back on themselves and their slow-moving dreams. Cowboys are special, Well, their own brand of misery from being alone too long. He could die in the cold, in the arms of a nightmare, knowing where the best days are gone. Picking up hooks instead of my pen, I let the words of my youth fade away. Old worn out saddle, old worn out memories, no one and no place to stay. Heroes have always been cowboys, still already seen. Sadly, search up one step back up themselves and slow-moving dreams. Sadly, search up one step back up themselves and their slow-moving dreams. Warm us up one more time. But remember that Red River Valley and cowboy who loved you so true. Thank you. We kind of gotta get the jitters out. It's like a racehorse. We're standing up here. We had the album released today, and I think it got as high as number 8 on the country charts, which for an independent artist, I was the only independent artist. My good friend Cody Jinks, he was number 2. He had a Live at Red Rocks, and but other than that, it was kind of full of Nashville record executives and all that kind of stuff. And so for a boy that was up at 4:30 and out working until what? Maybe 10 minutes before y'all picked me up, I had to come shower here in Belton. I'm blue collar and I'm a cowboy, and I don't know why it took me so long to record a cowboy record. I think when I first started playing music, I was doing the national anthem, and then riding, and then playing the dance afterwards, and it was kind of a weird thing. They're like, "You're Chris Ledoux." So I did everything I could not to be Chris Ledoux. I was like, "No, I'm Waylon Jennings," and I'm an outlaw, and I'm high, and I did all those things to get in trouble, so I wouldn't be compared to Chris Ledoux. And they say you always come back home, and that's kind of what this album is. It's coming back home for me. The next song, speaking of Chris Ledoux, I recorded one of my favorite. When I record an album, the first song I still believe in records, even though you can't buy them anywhere. You remember going to the record store when you saved up $8? She doesn't. But that's what you did when you were my age, and you read that record, and it was like a novel. So for me, that's what it was. So the first song is like the preface to the whole record. Then the second song is kind of like this is what the record is. And when I rodeoed for a long time, longer than I should have actually. This was kind of one of those songs that was a theme song, because when I started rodeoing, they didn't have all these crew cab pickups and stuff. You had a single cab pickup, and then you put a Lazy Boy recliner or 2 in the back of a truck, and that's how you went down the road, okay? Imagine that these days. I don't think you'd make 2 miles. So this one's called Going and a Blowin'. Well, I'm a-going and a-blowing and a-heading down the road, and I'm trying to make a living rodeoing. I've been driving all night, the pale moonlight, waiting for the sun to start showing. I got too many miles and not enough time, but I'm gonna make it just the same. It's a mighty tough life, but I like it all right. You know I wouldn't have it any other way. Well, I've been drinking that old black coffee till it tastes like turpentine. And I heard every song on the Bill Mack show, pretty near every 50 time. And a little green man on a motorcycle passed a little while ago. I could sure use some sleep, I gotta keep heading on down the road. Let's go, boys. Get out and get on another one, and boy, you better win. Cause the money's getting tight and the banker gets mad when them hot checks start rolling in. Well, ain't life great on the interstate, looking out for Smokey the Bear. Getting high on caffeine and Copenhagen, breathing that cool night. Well, I'm a-going and a-blowing and a-heading down the road, and I'm trying to make a living rodeoing. I've been driving all night, pale moonlight, waiting for the sun to start showing. I got too many miles and not enough time, but I'm gonna make it just the same. It's a mighty tough life, but I like it all right. No, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a mighty tough life, but I like it all right. You know I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you. Thank you. It's kind of strange for us because we sound checked, and Jake back here plays this big fiddle over here in the corner. I don't know if you can see that big fiddle. That's usually what he's playing as a bass guitar, and the screws fell out of that big fiddle like 10 minutes before. It's really a bass guitar. It's a stand-up bass. If you think we're lying, we have the pieces. They fell out as we were getting ready to play, and so our good friends at Texas Tour Gear ran across the street and grabbed this bass guitar. Notice the plastic still on there. It's because if you want to buy this bass guitar, you give me a private message. It's been played at my CD release party. And the price just went way up because it was played by Jake Wilson. So he's trying to learn to play everything this way instead of this way. Okay? Y'all forgive him. He said, "Is this what it feels like to be a rock star? Somebody brings you another bass?" I said, "No, son, we just got lucky." I think if I could have the keys to Belton, they'd probably give it to me, and I love this town. What's next on this album? Oh, thank you. That's why I insisted on having an audience here. I told them earlier I haven't done many live things. I've only done, this is my second one. And because after 30 years of blood, sweat, and tears playing in the music business, I didn't want to be remembered by that iPhone. Nothing against you people that do that, but damn it, I did it, didn't I? I already did it. This is going to be the only radio single that I have on the album. It's called "A Girl on the Bay," and it was recorded a long time ago by my friend and hero, Mr. Ed Burleson, a rodeo cowboy, great honky tonker. I'll get into all that later, but the album was going to be released, and we were cutting this video for this song at the Goliad County PRCA Rodeo. We had everything set up, and 2 days before it, they canceled the rodeo because of COVID. It was right around the time of the Houston rodeo. So I didn't put the album out until now. And it's a song called Girl on the Bay, and that's not a body of water. That is a brown horse with black mane is a bay, okay? Pretty girl riding a bay. Well, a young cowboy in a small Texas town, running with his buddies, rodeo grounds, when a girl on a horse caught him by surprise with her long brown hair and her bright silver eyes. Well, she told me her name and she gave me a grin, then kicked her pony, rode off like the wind, but he couldn't take his eyes off. She rode away and he had no idea what she'd stolen that day. And it'll be hard living this way, but I know somehow I'll be okay. What I'm trying to say is for the rest of my day, I miss the pretty girl riding the bay. Well, a short 4 years later, in an old Chevy truck, singing along to Navajo Rug, holding hands, sitting close, both feeling fine, riding along, drinking wild wine. Time had passed. She felt the same. She stood beside me. She took my ring. Didn't take long for the love was all gone, and she gave back my name. She broke up her home. And it'll be hard living this way, but I know somehow I'll be okay. What I'm trying to say is for the rest of my day, I'll miss the pretty girl riding the bay. It'll be hard living this way, but I know somehow I'll be okay. What I'm trying to say is for the rest of my day, I'll miss the pretty girl riding the bay. I'll miss the pretty girl riding the bay. Thank you. Then, you can't do a cowboy album without Red Steagall on it. You just cannot. And my first fiddle player toured with Red when he was like 16, and so I've listened to almost every song of Red's. And trying to pick that, I was between Dawson Legate, for all you Canadians that are watching, the millions of people out there. It was between Dawson Legate and this song. And there was something about a horse song, again, back to back, that I enjoyed. And it takes me back to being about 8 or 9 years old and riding in the TYRA, the Texas Youth Rodeo Association. And before the rodeo, they'd play, besides Johnny Cash and the Old Rugged Cross, they would play all these Red Steagall and Chris Ledoux songs. This was one of them. It's called Bandito Go. Mid-July, the year that I turned 10. That summer dust blowed red in Texas sky. Day and night the hot wind blowed, but what I remember most was the look I can't forget in Daddy's eyes. Said the yellow coat's our first one that I know. After 2 long years we both have watched him grow. But the pastures all have died and McClellan creeks run dry. Son, I've got to sail Bandito Go. Bandito Go. Think of all the mighty rivers we have crossed and all the mountains we have climbed. Bandito Go. Think of all the outlaw bands we have captured single-handed in our mind. Our old mare Dixie Foe, 4 white socks, a pretty yellow coat, and with pride we watched him grow until now he's 10 years old, but he never has replaced Bandito Go. Bandito Go. Think of all the mighty rivers we have crossed and all the mountains we have climbed. Bandito Go. Think of all the outlaw bands we have captured single-handed in our mind. My turn to ride, my horse is in shoot fight. I checked my reins and pulled my saddle tight. Way out in Idaho at the Twin Falls Rodeo, I've drawn the outlaw horse, Bandito Go. Bandito Go. Think of all the mighty rivers we have crossed and all the mountains we have climbed. Bandito Go. Think of all the outlaw bands we have captured single-handed in our mind. Bandito Go. Think of all the mighty rivers we have crossed and all the mountains that we've climbed. Bandito Go. Think of all the outlaw bands we have captured single-handed in our mind. Bandito Go. Bandito Go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. How many of y'all the first time you've ever heard that? No, don't raise your hand. I can see y'all look confused. That's probably why I didn't do a cowboy record early. It was kind of one of those things. It was like, they called me. When you go to Nashville, they really, really play up what you were. And it's like, this is a professional rodeo cowboy and bull rider. It's, it kind of wouldn't have surprised me if they would have said, Jarrod Birmingham was the youngest kid ever born at one time. Get that? No, really, they would do that kind of thing. And although I did rodeo in the PRCA and the BRO and back when it was bull riders only and PBR and all that, to call me a professional cowboy, I'm also a professional singer, but I'm not George Strait, okay? So you got to put things in perspective sometimes, and I don't know why I told that. Where are we at? Oh. All right. I'm going to take you back. Are y'all okay with me here? What about out there on Facebook land? Anybody watching? Yeah? Are they asking a lot of questions that I can't get to? Okay. Well, if you're asking questions, maybe Ronnie will take one or two. They're way too far from me, and I don't have my cheaters on to answer you tonight. That's what happens when you break 50. You got to have cheaters. I told my age. I would have never done that before. Where was I at? Okay, so I'm going to take you back to my early 20s. Okay, me and a guy, we called him T-Bone. It's Kenneth Custer, and Stevie Davis. I called him Hubcap. Clean on the outside, dirty on the inside. Sweet, he's such a sweet boy. And we all piled into whatever car had the biggest trunk. You think cowboys always took, like, trucks, right? We rode around in a Oldsmobile 98 because it had a huge trunk until I got a Lincoln Continental. So we rode around and we listened to all those. And this song, the only reason I recorded it, not the only reason, it's probably my second favorite song in the world, but was for T-Bone, Kenneth Custer, and Hubcap, Stevie Davis. It's a song called Running Through the Rain. Last night I rode a Bronx in Seattle. Me and Bill packed the car in the pouring rain. Witch and John were at the beer stand getting Sprite. But we got them together, hit the road again. Chewing snooze and spitting in a bottle. Country music blasting on the radio. Talking girls and broncs and gold belt buckles. Hit the south to a California rodeo. Just rolling down that great American highway with the morning sky lit up like a flame. Chasing dreams, following a rainbow, like children running through the rain. Well, we all ride our broncs and get a little money. There's Witch over at the beer stand again. But look, he's got his arms around a little California honey. And I wonder if that lady of yours has any friends. Just rolling down that great American highway with the morning sky lit up like a flame. Chasing dreams, following a rainbow, like children running through the rain. Now the years went by and we've all got families. We all still like to get together every now and then. We talk about all the bad broncs and good times. Lord, sometimes I wish we were back on the road again. Just rolling down that great American highway with the morning sky lit up like a flame. Chasing dreams, following a rainbow, like children running through the rain. Just chasing dreams and following a rainbow, like a bunch of crazy kids running through the rain. We're also nervous. We're also nervous because it's live. Like, we're nervous for different reasons. I'm nervous because I'm trying to remember the words to all these songs we recorded because we never played them live. Jake's nervous because he's trying to learn to play a bass this way. My wife's nervous I'm going to say something that I shouldn't on Facebook. Yeah, what's different today than any other day? All right, so earlier I told you, y'all still having a good time. I'm not trying to pander for applause. I just the strange thing about playing music these days, and I'm going to break off the cowboy thing for 1 second. It's so hard for guys like me because used to all you did was record a record and write songs that were good, and you played and you had a good band and you took it from town to town. Now it's like, I'm not a car salesman, but I play one on social media because I try to sell everything, and I absolutely hate it. I'd much rather be in a smoky honky-tonk tonight playing you these songs. So anyway, back to Ed Burleson. I talked to you about Ed earlier. Ed was a rodeo cowboy, and this album, when I recorded it, I intended to do all duets. And I had it in my mind who was going to do what. And Ed was the first one I recorded. And Ed was my hero. If you've never heard of Ed Burleson, please go look that up. He was the original Texas music guy. I mean, before Pat Green and all of when it was just kind of country playing, it was Ed Burleson and Doug Sohm and Clay Blaker and all the old Texas honky-tonkers. Like, man, look at this kid playing honky-tonk music and writing his own music. And he rodeoed in a time where I tried to play music when I didn't think you could write songs. You just had to play like and sound like Vince Gill in the late 80s. And Ed was doing his own thing. And then I started playing music again after that, so we kind of missed each other. But on Ed's first live album, first ever cassette that I have of Ed Burleson's, there was this song on there called Rodeo Bum. And it was live at the Two Teardrops Tavern in Dallas, Texas. And I didn't know anybody else wrote it but Ed until I recorded this song on the album, and I had to look it up. Great song. It's a song called Rodeo Bum. Some call it a living, some call it rodeo bum. 'Cause you're rough, wild, and reckless, trying hard to become number one. For that moment of glory, you don't have to worry as you ride. You're hell-bent for luck, ride that old buck, you dusty old rodeo bum. Ride 'em high, you got nothing to lose. When your pocket's all as empty as the holes in your boot. Ride 'em high, rodeo bum. It's a long, dusty road, but your day's bound to come. Faces keep spinning, get high on the roar of the crowd. Drink up your glory, choke on the dust when you're down. Sometimes you feel useless, you wonder where you're coming like the wrinkled up dollar in your old faded jeans, your dusty old rodeo bum. Ride 'em high, got nothing to lose when your pocket's always empty as the holes in your ride 'em high, your rodeo bum. It's a long dusty road, but your day's bound to come. Ride 'em high, got nothing to lose when your pocket's always empty as the holes in your boot. Ride 'em high, your rodeo bum. It's a long dusty road, but your day's bound to come. It's a long dusty road, but your day's bound to come. Thank you. Okay. It's so weird having my young kids running around tonight. Yeah, thank y'all for putting up and watching over them. It's probably why I also didn't record a cowboy record early in my career. Bless my older kids. God. This is my all-time favorite song, period. Now, when people say, I've got a favorite song, they kind of have, it depends on what mood you're in. If you're at a wedding, it's Love Stinks. No, I'm just joking. No, but you know what I mean. It's hard to pinpoint a favorite song. For me, it's easy. It was easy. And I have a tattoo from here to here to prove it of this song. And Ned Ledoux thought that was like the craziest thing because he's like, how do you know all my dad's old stuff? I said, I stopped listening with Garth. Damn, I did it again. I love Garth. I do. I just knew all that old stuff. This is my favorite song. There's a line in this song that, and it's for two reasons this is my favorite song. Number one, it talks about the cowboy spirit and how it's leaving America now. It's been leaving for a long time, and I think we need to rein it in just a little bit and get some of that back. Then here's the other thing that's hidden to me as a songwriter. It's a conversation between a son and a father. And if you grew up as a ranch kid with a father, it's probably very hard on you. And you tell him you're going to be a cowboy. And he's like, you need to stay here, and that's a pipe dream and all that. You know what I'm talking about. Then there's a moment in this song where he says, he lets down his guard, and there's something about the approval of a father to a kid. And he says, son, you ride 'em pretty. And I got goosebumps again. I get goosebumps every time I hear that line in that song. Son, you ride 'em pretty, because it's a point in time when the admiration of a father goes to his kid. And I love the song. It's a song called 17. I didn't mean to kill the moment. But honestly, this is my favorite song of all time. It's hands down. I've been. was 5 years old, his mom took him down to the round corral to watch his dad work with a young horse they called Smokey. The man did that horse buck. But his old dad just sat up there and rode him like there was nothing to it. From that moment on, that boy knew when he grew up, he wanted to be a cowboy. 17, cowboy's dream ain't all fixin' fancy. Once he seen him ride, old Cheyenne. Ranch routines in his old man's scheme. This ain't where his heart is. But you know his daddy understands. When noonday comes, father and son sit down and eat your dinner. Beneath that big Wyoming sky, Daddy knows he's gotta let him go. Boy can't be a winner. He don't spread his wings and fly. In his mind, he's riding bulls out in Las Vegas. Today he's on a train, leads to Santa Fe. Sweet voice of freedom echoes down the ages. Calls another cowboy on his way. Finds him packed and ready. Mama kissed her cheek and she went inside. His old man, he just shook his hand. Said, son, you ride 'em pretty. Never seen the tears that Mama cried. Mama cried. 'Cause in his mind, he's riding bulls out in Las Vegas. Today he's on a trail, leads to Santa Fe. Sweet voice of freedom echoes down the ages. Calls another cowboy on his way. Sweet voice of freedom echoes down the ages. He calls another cowboy on his way. Yeah! Thank you. One last little thing about that song. Before I ever put it, it means so much to me. I hope that I never lose the goosebumps since I recorded it. But it means so much to me that I sent it off to some of Chris LeDoux's best friends and bandmates, and they told me, Chris would be so proud that you made that your own and you put that on your album, and it would be great. From that moment on, I have not cared. I have not cared what happens to this record after that, because KT Turnbow told me Chris Ledoux would have approved. All right, takes me to the next song. And again, this is a different kind of show. Billy said, this is the first show we've ever had that's dedicated straight to an album. And I said, well, that's cool. We should have done that a long time ago. I wrote all those. So this song, I was looking for a song online called Rodeo Men. Well, turns out there's 150 of them. These days you can Google, and there's 150 songs called Rodeo Man. But what intrigued me is I ran across one that was written by Muzzy Braun. Do you know who Muzzy Braun is? Okay, you're faking. But if you lived in Idaho or the Midwest, Muzzy Braun was like a god in the 70s and 80s. And you know his kids. They moved to Texas. Reckless Kelly and Mickey and the Motor Cars. So when I saw Muzzy wrote that, I was like, and then I learned from certain people that played a lot in the Midwest, like Spokane, Washington, that if you're going to play dance halls up there, it's kind of like, you know, down here, you got to know either like Kevin Fowler, Beer Bait and Ammo, or you better know Cody Johnson's Diamond in My Pocket. No. So you better know Rodeo Man if you're playing in Boise, Idaho tonight. But for this song, and what I love about it is to be a bull rider, and I mean this in the best way. I've tried to explain this to you. You've got to have a touch of cockiness, and not arrogance. There's a difference, but a touch of cockiness, because you're doing something that you're not supposed to do, and if you don't have that, she knows. I talk to some of these 18, 19-year-old bull riders. I'm like, God, I wish I still had that. But life will knock you down. But for this song, I'm going to shotgun my pants. Because like Del Brisby would say, you ain't no cowboy if you ain't no rodeo man. Must have been born in the right place and time. Drifter, seer, Lord, I ain't got a dime. No worries, no troubles, ain't nobody came. Be as happy as me, 'cause I'm a rodeo man. Rode off the bad ones, mean sons of bitches. Broken some bones, I took hundreds of stitches. But there ain't nothing to it, just stick to my plan. Be prouder than hell to be a rodeo man. I'm gonna make it to the top of the world. I'll drive a Cadillac, have all kinds of girls. I'll be the envy of all the top hands. Thank God Almighty, I'm a rodeo man. Boots are on polished, my Stetson's on tight. Fixing to ride for that gold buckle tonight. My muscles are hardened and my face is tight and tame. Tonight they'll be proud of this rodeo man. I finally made it to the top of the world. Warm up the Cadillac, call on the girls. I'll be the envy of all the top hands. Thank God Almighty, I'm a rodeo man. Did y'all see that? A wiener dog. It's hard to be tough when a wiener dog ate half your boots. I did not know that, or I wouldn't.
What?
I got a wiener dog named Merle, as in Kilgore Haggard. And I asked Merle Haggard before he passed away if I could name my wiener dog Merle Haggard. He said, "Well, of course." I did. How many else could say that? I hope y'all aren't bored with cowboy songs yet, because all right, I'm going to move on. There was a number of, again, I meant this album to be a duet album, and I had people in mind, but I'm going to tell you, the only person I had in mind, there was a song called, it was another Rodeo Man that we tried to cut, and I said, you know what, we're going to cut Someday Soon. And she said, I'm no Susie Boggess. And I said, well, I'm trying to think of all the people who did Someday Soon. But all I can hear is my kids listening to Cocomelon back in the back. I'm an outlaw nowadays. Anyway, if I did a duet with anybody, it's this beautiful songwriter right here. And the way I see this song, it was either that or I was going to make her sing, "It's the booze and blood and the dust and mud and the roar of a Sunday crowd." And she said, "Oh, no, I'm not doing that." This is about a guy who loves rodeo more than her, she thinks, and it's not always the truth. It's just the way it goes. Someday Soon.
There's a young man that I know. He just turned 21. He comes from down in southern Colorado. He's just out of the service, and he's looking for his fun. Someday soon, going with him someday soon. My parents, they don't like him 'cause he rides the rodeo. My daddy said that he will leave me crying, but I will follow him right down the roughest road I know. Someday soon, going with him someday soon.
When I come to call home, your pa ain't got a good word to say. Guess it's 'cause he was just as wild back in his younger days.
So love you won't bloom more than blow my love to me.
I'm driving in tonight from California.
He loves his damned old rodeo as much as he loves me. Someday soon, going with him someday soon.
his younger days.
So will you open more than blow my love to me? He's riding in tonight from California. He loves his stand on rodeo as much as he loves me. Someday soon, going with him someday soon. Someday soon, going with him someday soon.
It's so weird because she's a blues singer, and I put her in this country world, and she kind of stopped doing all of the things she did just to come out on the road with a cowboy. And someday soon, baby, someday soon. We were number 8 on iTunes today. Someday soon, baby. And the Cody Johnson band came to visit us earlier. I mean, they did. I raised them. What was next? Oh, okay, this song. Now, not that I don't know what it is to be jaded in love, okay? I do. I do. But when I recorded this album, I talked to Chris Wall this past week, and he said, he told me a story when I was telling him about why I put this song on the album. He said, one time I had a man come to me after a show, and he said, I got a great idea for an album, Chris. And Chris said, what's that? Everybody always has a great idea. Do you know who Chris Wall is? Yeah. Oh, my God, the greatest songwriter. Yeah. I'm not name dropping. We had an hour conversation this week. And he said, anyway, the guy told him, he said, I got a great idea, Chris. I want every song to start with B. There's no punchline. The reason that Chris told me that is because something means something to everybody, even if it doesn't mean something to you. And as a songwriter, you've got to learn that. And it took me a while to catch that. It took me about 10 minutes. Chris, is there a punchline? He goes, think about it, Jarrod. And so when I cut this rodeo album, I put a poll out on Facebook. I said, if I were going to cut a rodeo album, hypothetically, I'd already cut it. Shh. What one song would you want to hear? And, you know, the average listener doesn't want to hear Bandito Gold and some of that. Some of y'all are kind of bored. You're like, yeah, I know what he's saying. But the one song overwhelmingly that came back was this one. I saw your picture on a poster at a cafe out in Phoenix. She's still the sweetheart of the rodeo. Me and little Casey, we still make the circuit in a one-horse trailer. She still asks about you all the time. So I guess we never even crossed your mind. But oh, sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride, and your rhinestones and your sunlight on your hat. Oh, the crown will always love you. But for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Now, old Red, he's getting old, and last Saturday he stumbled. But you know one just can't bear. Casey, she's still growing, and she started asking questions. Certain things a man ain't never gonna know. Her birthday came and you never recalled. So I guess we never crossed your mind at all. Oh, sometimes I think about and the way you used to ride it, and your rhinestones and your suit, with the sunlight on your hat. Oh, the crown will always love. But for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Everybody said you'd make it big someday, and I guess we were only in your way. I know someday you're gonna know, 'cause for everything you win, there's some loss. But oh, sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins, the sunlight on your hat. Oh, the crown will always love. But for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Everything glitters is not gold. Mr. Andrew Wilson from Spokane, Washington. No, I want it one more time. Yeah. Okay, and we get to this. The band recorded this album. It's my traveling band. People don't do that anymore. I had someone very famous in the country music world text me when he heard this, and he said, dude, you still do it the way Waylon does it. You use your band. You do that. I sing, and for 20-something years, Billy Joe High picks out of my head what I want to go on to records. He's been 3-time Texas Music Association Producer of the Year. And we can sit at my house and make records that end up with the Luke Combs records on iTunes because of people like y'all. And I think it's mainly because you believe it. Okay, getting back to this song. I asked the people what song they wanted to hear, and I was glad to do that one. It was one that probably would have slipped my mind because I was being obscure. Well, the band comes back and they say, remember when we used to do our band intros to Hooked on an 8-Second Ride? And I was like, yeah. And we went off into Metallica, and it's like, yeah, we're not doing that on a rodeo record. They're like, come on, man, we're gonna do it. No, we're not doing that on a rodeo record. I already did the DJ thing, and I mixed My Heroes Have Always Been Cowboys with Red River Valley. I'm not mixing Metallica or AC/DC with the Chris Ledoux song on this record. And they said, so just so it's fun for us, can we record that song? And I said, well, sure. When I used to ride the bucking barrel, when I was a kid, we would play Hooked on an 8-Second Ride on the corner and just do this. And that's what we did when we were 17 or 18. When other kids were running around wasting mom's and dad's money on gas, we were on the bucking barrel. So hell yeah, I'll play Hooked on an 8-Second Ride. I don't know how it'll go over acoustically, but that was the band request, okay? You've heard that one before? No? Heading down a long highway out to New Mexico, drifting down to Santa Fe around a bull in a rodeo. He's hooked on a feeling, he's addicted to a natural high. Don't know why it's appealing, all he knows is he's got to ride. He's addicted to danger, fueled by passion and pride. Pain and fear is no stranger, but his lust needs to be satisfied. Hooked on an 8-second ride. Hooked on an 8-second ride. Hitting up down back of the shoes, makes that rosin burn. He's got his spurs on the heels of his shoes at the point of no return. He's hooked on a feeling, he's addicted to a natural high. Don't know why it's appealing, all he knows is he's got to ride. He's addicted to danger, fueled by passion and pride. Pain and fear is no stranger, but his lust needs to be satisfied. Hooked on an 8-second ride. Hooked on an 8-second ride. That was the Metallica part right there. I shut it off. Come to a live show and maybe we'll put the Metallica back in for Billy Joe. Y'all don't get antsy on me. We're gonna finish this for Facebook land, for all the millions of people in the world. I guarantee you right now, there's people watching from France and Norway. I promise you. I'm gonna tell you why. I was one time voted Country Male Artist of the Year by the French Academy of Country Music Awards. Do you know who I beat? Do you know who I beat? Do you know who I beat that year? Kenny Chesney. Now, I don't think Kenny was too worried about it. Jarrod who? Jarrod who? I'm the cowboy that stole your girlfriend from your hotel room, and oh, that's another story. No, that was 30 years ago, but it did happen. After being in Nashville so long, I know why now. I did it again. Damn it. See what she lives with? All right, I'll go on. So I was looking for an Ed Bruce song, and there's a lot of Ed Bruce stories in this. Do you know who Ed Bruce is? I know you got to know who Ed Bruce is. Ed Bruce, he wrote so many of those songs like, "This is the last cowboy song, the end of 100-year wars. The voices sound sad as they're singing along. Another piece of America gone. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Don't let them pick guitars and drive them on trucks. Let them be doctors and lawyers and such. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. 'Cause they're never alone, they're always alone, even with someone they love." So all those songs sound alike, and they're Ed Bruce tunes. But you know the one that I went to find, and I was trying to learn the words because I like throwing curveballs. I was trying to throw a curveball at you, and Ed Bruce, he wrote, "When I die, I may not go to heaven. I don't know if they let cowboys in." And I was going to put that on the record. And in the meantime, I came across a song that I'd forgotten all about. And it was a song called "Oh, We're Out Cowboys." And when I heard it when I was 20, I didn't understand it. But now that I've traveled the world and we're building a house, and I can't even build a 2-story house because I can't get up the stairs in the morning, I have broken not every bone in my body, but I've broken every type of bone in my body. Does that make sense? I've broken the fibia, not both, every one of them. And my ribs don't close on this side. I've got 27 plates in my face right here. Plastic surgery did good. Good job. You know, speaking of that, one time we played a club and they had a Kenny Rogers lookalike contest. Kenny came in third. Lord forgive me. No. And both shoulders are pinned. I had a fake knee put in at 26 because I had the whole bottom part of my leg ripped off, literally ripped off, and they thought I'd never walk again, and they were going to fuse it together, and in about 6 months later I was riding bulls again. That's the tattoo on the side here, 17. Anyway, Old Worn Out Cowboy, Old Worn Out Cowboy. When I heard it again, I was like, oh my God, I understand every word he's saying. And so we recorded it. We played it for a few months. And we were up in McKinney, Hanks and McKinney. And I played it, and somebody came to me afterwards and said, man, I love that Ward Davis and Jamie Johnson cover. I was like, oh, cool, thank you. And I don't know Ward. I know Jamie. Evidently, they cut this about 2 years ago, Old Worn Out Cowboys. And now, when we get together with our mutual friend, Cody Jinks, we have a song to play, okay? It's a song called Old Worn Out Cowboy, and I've never felt another song like I feel this one tonight. There must be some place for old worn out cowboys, broken down pickers, and dreamers like me, where the cue sticks are straight and the beer's always cold, and the jukebox is playing Hank Williams for free. I played the pool room, the ballrooms and bedrooms of Cheyenne to Memphis. There ain't nothing new. Hard-bodied young cowgirls, too many state fair bulls. I've rode them all till I'm busted and bruised. There must be some place for old worn out cowboys, broken down pickers, dreamers like me, where the cue sticks are straight, and the beer's always cold, and the jukebox is playing Williams for free. Pick it, y'all. Played my guitar, my fingers blistered, bleeding and sweating, staining my jeans. They tried to whip me, more didn't than did. I'm proud of my dues, God has 6 strings. There must be some place for old worn out cowboys, broken down pickers, dreamers like me, where the cue sticks are straight and the beer's always cold, and the jukebox is playing Hank Williams for free. There must be some place for old wore out cowboys, broken down pickers, dreamers like me, where the cue sticks are straight and the beer's always cold, the jukebox is playing Williams for free, and they're never always, even with someone they Thank you. We're almost done here. I've got one more song on this album. Y'all hang with me. Have people watch for a little bit? Cool. Thank you. Thank y'all out there for watching. I know it's tough sitting there looking at your phones, and I know the NFR's on. let's have a cowboy show while the NFR's on. Hey, there's a great idea, Ronnie Schoepf. Thank you. Eric at Coke FM, thank y'all. Thank you. Look, I didn't do a, what do they call those GoFundMe things or no? Venmos. I didn't do that on this deal. That's not my thing. Okay? I just want to play music for you. I want to give you something that for me. So go buy an album, go buy a cap, go buy a t-shirt, something like. Come see a damn show. If they let us have some. The last song. Always on the albums, I put my last song favorite. So when you go back through the albums, always look what the last song was. The last song is always my favorite. And it's a song that I released on my No Apologies CD called Holding On. And the song that I wrote about a number of my heroes, all kind of wrapped into one, because that's what songwriters do. They expand on the truth. I was working cows down in the river bottom, the Guadalupe Delta river bottom down in Tyvola, Texas, where I come from. And Mr. Hinkie, I had this song going in my head, and Mr. Hinkie was probably 89, and he comes out, and he steps out of the passenger door of his pickup truck, and he climbs on a horse, and he had on house shoes. And all of a sudden, the song finished itself, because this cowboy that I've seen, just one of my heroes, Joe Ray Custer, Renee Carry-On, a number of those people that I rolled this song up. And it's called Holding On. And thank y'all for listening out there in Facebook world. For y'all that are here, thank you. And we're going to play a little bit and have my kids get up and sing with us. And we're going to have a good time. Bet you wish you were here. Thank you so much. He's been beat up, banged up, and mashed to the ground. He's been on top of time or two. From Cheyenne, Calgary to Houston, he made them all before he was through. He still talks about the bad ones. That twinkle in his eye. He knows he's got to take a break. But his heart still wonders why. What do you do when all you've ever done is moving on without you, and before you know it's gone? Try and tell the cowboy it's time to let go, when holding on is all he's ever known. Now there's house shoes in the stirrups, boots and saddles used to fit. He'd been in that saddle for 70 years. Little sore feet wouldn't make him quit. We worked all day penning cattle in that hot August sun. And every time us kids stopped to take a break, that man said, I think I'll just ride on. What do you do when all you've ever done moving on without you, and before you know it's gone? Try and tell the cowboy it's time to let go, when holding on is all he's ever known. What do you do when all you've ever done is moving on without you, and before you know it, it's gone? Try and tell the cowboy it's time to let go, when is all he's ever known. They've been trying to kill off us cowboys for 100 years or so. But he's still riding high, just holding on. That's all he knows. Thanks for listening, Facebook. Thanks. The album's called The Short Go. You go download it. See if we can get a little high. Thanks for tuning in, people. Thanks, Mom. We're going to Disney World. All right, now what do y'all want to hear?